Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsnight. My name is Charles Odongtho, and this evening, back yet again with the old man of the clan, Andrew Mwenda. He is the CEO of the Independent magazine. Andrew, you're most welcome back.
Thank you very much. Especially for recognizing that I'm an old man.
Oh, you now enjoy that title,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And the people are beginning to ask whether I am the young man of the clan or also another old man.
You are the infant of the clan.
The infant of the clan?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But we shall first talk about that at another time. Now, this evening, we have to find out, Andrew, what's happening between police and the American embassy? Why are they fighting? Or is there a fight anyway? Yeah,
well, there is, I think, a disagreement in the sense that the American embassy has been running an NGO as a research institution, which I think provides some support to HIV prevention. The problem
generally?
Yes,
generally. HIV generally.
But you see, the problem with this specific research institution is they have been inviting young gay men, encouraging them to come with their partners. And when they would go to this place, they would be shown gay movies, they would be given shown lubricants, they would be shown condoms, they would be given manuals to show them how to have sex between men.
So manuals, they are given condoms,
they are given
and they are given instructions.
There are instruction manuals on how to have gay sex with men.
Seriously? And this was happening in Kampala?
Yes. Now let me show you this. If you see, homosexuality exposes many people to the risk of HIV/AIDS. So I think that because homosexuals do this secretly, they may not have the right information on how to do it in a safe manner that can prevent the accumulation of diseases or perhaps getting medical problems. And one of the problems of this law, of course, is that if you criminalize homosexuality and a person who has a disease resulting from homosexuality, how will the doctor treat this person? Because you're saying even the doctor who treats such a person has committed a crime. So I think what the Americans were doing technically is the right thing, and I think diplomatically and politically it was the wrong thing. You see, Ugandans are saying...
Can you distinguish between that? Technically they were doing the right thing, but diplomatically and politically they were doing the wrong thing.
Technically and medically providing advice.
Because I actually can add the third one, that legally they were actually faulting the law, knowing that the law in the land does not support homosexuality.
This is why the problem begins. One, why did I say technically? I think that both moral and technically it is good to provide sex education to gays in Uganda and tell them, please don't have dry sex, perhaps have lubricated sex. Two, use a condom, don't be live. And then you play the movies to show how they can. I would understand that from a technical point of view. So in order to promote better sex practices and the prevention of HIV, what they were doing is the right thing. But within the Ugandan social context, where the public is accusing Western embassies of promoting homosexuality and recruiting people, it is easier for the police to present this to the public as the Americans recruiting Ugandans into homosexuality and even training them into the actual practice of how to have this.
And therefore, anybody who reads the law would support the Ugandan police to have done that.
Yes. I think that technically, the Ugandan police are also right. One, there is a law in Uganda already gazetted prohibiting homosexuality. If you're the American embassy, you clearly know you are promoting a practice that is illegal in the country. Now, if for strong moral and human rights reasons you felt that you should continue with this program, in spite of the passing and gazetting of this law, if I were the American ambassador, Scott DeLisi, I would have gone to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and said, look, you guys have passed this law, but you are running this program. This program is good for the health of Ugandans who are homosexuals. You are not going to wish away homosexuals. We are trying to teach them how they can have safe sex and secure sex without accumulating disease. And those who are ill, we are treating them. We would like you to know, if the government of Uganda knew, the Minister of Foreign Affairs would perhaps communicated with the police and said, no, don't arrest these people. But the fact that they were doing it without notifying the Uganda government, especially after passing and signing and gazetting of this law, the Americans really what they were doing, the lack of transparency has put them into a very serious problem.
But would you be surprised with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or any other responsible ministry in this country not doing that because they know that they would be going against their own law? How could they?
Because let me tell you, governments do many things. Even in America, governments may have one position openly for political reasons. You see, even President Yoweri Museveni, I'm sure if somebody spoke to him privately, he would feel there should be a level of protection provided to homosexuals? Because let me ask you, you as a human being, assuming your son was a homosexual, was involved in this practice, and he has a disease as a result, would you get him for treatment?
Of course, the thing
I'm
is,
asking you, would you take him to a doctor?
Yes, I would, because he's sick and I need to help him to get
Let me tell you another, Charles, and this is the problem. Do you know who the homosexual is?
No.
The homosexual is your father, it could be your mother, it could be your brother, your sister, your best friend, your best lecturer, the journalist you like the most, whatever it is. It could be your favorite uncle, your favorite lecturer, it could be
anybody,
the guy,
anybody.
It could be anybody, but you don't know why. Because of cultural prejudice, they will hide it from you. So as this country has so many homosexuals teeming, this city teeming on every
I actually don't think there are so many. Maybe there are many, because I wonder what.
So Kampala has a population of 3 million. Let me even assume that
what parameter do you use to gauge their number?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Let me assume that there is 1% homosexuals in Kampala. There are still 30,000. 30,000 is many.
Now, let's go back to the real issue, to the gist of the issue, because that is a debate we cannot win or lose, fairly. What would then this mean in terms of the relationship of a foreign government recruiting people against the land law, the law of the land, and doing it so blatantly? What does it do in this case, where now
fact, I'm happy
police is...
You have asked a very good question, actually. One, you see, these Americans are very insensitive. First, you know that I support gay rights. Two, I'm one of the petitioners against this law.
That is now said and done.
Yes, so my criticism...
Actually, people actually have accused you of doing more than that. But please go ahead. Don't go into that.
People can accuse me of anything. You really think an old man like me would care at 101?
Please go to the issue.
So, the
relationship between America and Uganda in this.
I have a problem with Americans. First of all, I should tell you, on Monday, I had lunch with one of the top officials of the US government outside of this country. I was not in this country. And in my discussions with her, I realized that these Americans are extremely arrogant. They do not recognize certain things. You see, if Uganda has passed a law and you have to continue with this program, it is so important to declare to the government of Uganda. Doing it clandestinely and teaching people how to have homosexuality, to indulge in homosexual acts without notifying the police in Uganda is not only arrogant, but it also places the entire gay rights movement at a strategic risk. Because right now, police, if the police in Uganda are restrained, if the police went to the media with the videos they retrieved from this institution, with the lubricants they retrieved, with the manuals which I have seen, I have copies of them.
Even videos?
Because, I have my own sources. They have videos of men having sex with men. They were teaching these young people this. You see, I think that the Americans were well-intentioned anyway. They were trying to show these Ugandans.
I actually don't think they were well-intentioned, because they were going right against the principles, the legal principles that a country has decided. Unless, and maybe what they should have done, logically, should have been to support the Mwendas and wait until the Fox Odois, and wait until that law is maybe declared unconstitutional,
so
and then do what they're doing.
Let me give you an example. Under the United States under Jim Crow, there were laws, and under slavery, there were laws in America prohibiting a black person from getting an education.
Even in South Africa, there were laws on slavery.
Black people were, by law, not supposed to have an education. Assuming they are progressive white people who felt that these people should be given an education, they should be taught how to read and write, even for their own good. And the British Embassy in America was running a secret program to educate black people and give them an education. Do you think it would have been a bad thing? Technically, the British government would be violating, embassy would be violating American law. But morally, they would be doing the right thing. So for me, I believe the Americans were doing the right thing at a moral level. It is simply that their lack of transparency, their mistrust and disregard of Ugandan institutions, because let me tell you, these people called Kale Kaihura, Yoweri Museveni, Amama Mbabazi, in a government, if you met them one-on-one and explain to them the essence of gay rights and why, even if the law has been passed, which was passed really for political reasons to win political capital, but even if the law is in place, that privately, gay people who have been involved in homosexual activity must be helped, and those who are being involved now must be advised to avoid acquiring HIV, must be advised on how to have it in a better way if they do not know. I think that's a very good effort. Do you see? So
how do you think this will end up? How do you think it will eventually end up now?
You see,
very quickly as we wind up.
Yes, how it will end will depend on
because police is still doing investigations.
Can I give, on Thursday last week, the American ambassador called Kale Kaihura, and they had a bad shouting match. The American ambassador called Kaihura and started issuing Kaihura orders. The American ambassador could not recognize that he was involved in a criminal activity. Okay, he was sponsoring an activity that violates the Ugandan law. But because he represents a superpower, he calls the Inspector General of the Ugandan police and begins insulting him and issuing him orders and intimidations. You are doing this, you are doing this.
And what did Kaihura say?
They had a shouting match on the phone, and it was tempers flaring on the phone. So because of that attitude, you see, the American ambassador is hardening Kaihura's position. The American ambassador should see Kale Kaihura as a strategic ally in the management of this law and its implementation. Because if you do not have Kaihura on your side and you call him to issue him orders simply because you represent a superpower, you are doing it to the detriment of homosexuals in Uganda. So, Mr. American Ambassador, I beg you, please, let Ugandans fight for their own freedom. You keep away. The Ugandan gays don't need an American, a Dutch, a Danish, a French, or a Belgian ambassador.
I actually, as we wind up, I actually think that what they should be emphasizing is rehabilitation of these people to try and get who they are, what they suffer from. Is it true they face discrimination?
Who solicited your thoughts in this program?
That is Andrew Mwenda, old man of the clan. My name
Who
is Charles
solicited your
Odongo,
thoughts?
and that was Newsnight.